G'day, Sean Savage here, Streaker Marine, and brand new model hitting the water today. It's the Quintrex 660 Trident. So we've recently tested the 610 Trident in the soft top, but we've been pretty excited to get the bigger brother out there as well. So today's the day. A little bit of breeze coming through straight in. We might get a little bit more chop, but before we go out in the water, we'll just have a bit of a walk around and see what we're dealing with. So starting with the trailer, it's a 2600 trailer, which means anything over 2 ton is electric brakes, and you can see that system there says the 2600. So if you are towing this, expect if you have a tow vehicle that's sort of up to 3 ton, you're more than capable. We have a Lone Star anchor winch, so we fit those anchor winches here in Melbourne. We use Lone Star anchor winches rather than some of the other ones that can be factory fitted. We like that particular brand and have great success with them. Looking at the boat itself, so it's a 5mm bottom side, 3mm side sheet. So it is a plate hull, which is the only Quintrex cabin boat they make in a plate style is the Trident range. It's got a really big cabin hatch there. I've just jumped in the cabin and the cabin is massive, so I can see that being the sort of thing that you can spend a little bit more time in the boat, possibly overnight stay as well. Crack that hatch open and have a bit of fresh air and circulation coming through. Those big side windows as well, so the cabin didn't miss out. I'm actually quite impressed with that. Windscreen's really clean. It's got the nice black surround. It fits really well with these clears that we've done, the front and side clears and the bimini. We've done both of those locally. Visibility is really good, and these soft top boats, the advantage of it is you can crack that front clear open and have some ventilation through the boat. Why you'd buy the 660 over the 610 is at the back here as well. It seems to be a much bigger rear cockpit space, which would make sense. It's a 200 horsepower, which is maximum horsepower for the boat. It's got those X-deck treads on the top decks there, the non-slip, and they look nice and easier to replace when they get scratched or whatever happens. The fuel filler is on the port side, so the passenger side off the boat and the car. Keep that in mind. They are a checkered plate floor, so very easy to maintain, self-draining floor, very clean, easy, and if you're doing that offshore and that light tackle or whatever you're doing as far as fishing goes, you'll find the checkered plate floor gives you options. You can put some rubber matting on top of it to take away the glare, the heat, and a bit of the slip. But when you are washing the boat out or using the boat for what it's designed to be done, which is hardcore fishing, that checker plate floor is a real treat. We've got the rocket launcher at the top here, so they're those ones where you can fold the rods up and down to get to them. It is quite high. They're always high in these Tridents, so you do have to have an esky or something to stand on to get into the rods there. I find those just a bit too tall for me. We're going to go through the rest of the features as we go out in the river, but just have a quick look around. Storage everywhere. Someone's been really thinking at Quintrex with storage lockable and open. That big cabin in there, we'll go through that, and we'll actually do that now. So this has got a center bunk, which I would presume would be an option. I don't have a tape measure on me, but I'm saying that's north of 2 meters, that sleeping area there. So it's probably 1.8 wide by 2 meters long. The only thing I don't like about this cabin is my access to the back of the dash. So I do have some fuse options there, but if I want to get to the back of the dash to get to the back of the plugs of the transducer or something, it looks like a lot of work. Unless I'm missing something, that looks like something that I'd want to put a inspection hatch into to have some access to the back of the dash. But we have carpet lined roof, we have LED light, we have nice shelves either side, really good headroom to get in and out of the cabin. And when we turn around, we can close it up, lock it up, do what we want to do. So that's all exciting stuff. While we're here, we will just start the engine. So we'll trim the engine down. Start her up. And we will get back to you once we're in the water and ready to go. Okay, so we're ready to launch the boat. So what I've done is I've put the engine in the water, I've started the engine, put it into gear. I've gone to about 1100 RPM, so idle's about 700, but I've just engaged gear and gone to about 1100. So if we're going down the river at this pace, we're doing about 5 knots. The reason why I'm in gear is because while Tyrone's undoing the winch and the safety chain to disconnect the boat from the trailer, I'm preventing the boat from rolling back because I'm currently in gear holding the weight of the boat on the trailer. Now that Tyrone's undone the winch and the safety chain, all I need to do is go back into neutral and the boat will just start rolling, as you can see now. So everything's just nice and slow and gentle. It's just a really good idea just to keep a little bit of gear on when we're working around the back of the boat, just so we have no surprises and the boat doesn't start to roll off the trailer. So as you can see here right now, I'll just go to the back of the boat. We'll do some standing and walking around and see what the stability of the boat looks like. So going right into the corner here, my toes are under the tow rail. I feel like I'm a really good height that I can go and reach the water. And stability, one thing Tridents have always been really good at is stability. But looking at that there, even if I stand up and put my toes right over the edge, I'm sort of 85, 90 kilo hanging over the side there. It is one thing that Tridents have always been renowned for, is their stability. Remembering when you use a boat like this, you will go to your spot, drop the anchor, and a majority of your time while you're out in the water is at anchor at rest. And that's where we really want to be comfortable and stable while the boat's underway. So you can see here, I am doing everything I can to lean the boat over, and it's really just like a rock in the water. It's handling really well. So we'll pick up the cameraman, we'll take her out in the water and see how she handles a little bit of chop. Okay, so as we're heading out, what we're gonna do, I'm not the only person in the boat today, so I can utilize a cameraman. So that's pretty cool. What we're going to do is we're gonna drop the anchor while we're still in the river. And when we do that, we're gonna have a little walk around the boat and go through some features. So with our anchor winch, we have one thing that we're always pretty big on is having the circuit breaker and the actual up-down switch on the dash. I'm not a huge fan of having the circuit breaker down at the back, so I have to leave that on more often than not, and that means that the switch here is live. So right now I can hit this or bump this while we're underway and the anchor won't release. But when I have that live, that is a hazard that you are taking on. So what we're gonna do is just get past this jet ski here. I think he's towing some lines, so we'll give him a bit of space. Yep, there we go. So I'm gonna turn the anchor winch on by turning on the circuit breaker, slow the boat down, dab a little bit of reverse, and as I do that, drop the anchor winch down. So it is a series of chain and then rope. You can hear at the start, if you could hear that, it was a little bit rattly, and that's because it didn't have a chain sock on it initially. Now, one thing that we do here at Streaker Marine is we let you know how much chain or rope is out by marking each 10 meters. So every time you see black paint on that anchor winch rope or chain, you know that that's a 10-meter marker. So looking at the dash here, I currently am using maximum space. So with this bolstered seat, that is up at the moment, which gives me maximum room. I can sit on top of that, but it's more of a driving position. When I want to drive and sit, I'll pull this bolster down, and then I've got a much bigger seat, a nice driving position, and as we were talking about in that windscreen earlier, great visibility from where I am there. So there is a slide on the seat as well, forward, neutral, reverse, side mount control box, but one thing I do love is this parcel shelf here. So I've got a drink holder in there, I've got some space, I can run USBs and whatever I want to do. And I rate that. That's something that I don't often see with a side mount control box. Then up here, we've got a 12-inch screen. We've got zip weight trim tabs. So the zip weight trim tabs mean that we have auto stability. So when the boat's up and going, these trim tabs will sense movement throughout the boat and adjust these little plates at the back to balance the boat the best they can while we're underway. Yamaha screen, Fusion stereo, switch panels, the works. Over here, we have 2 glove boxes. So the top glove box, it's carpet lined. I've got my phone and all my gear in there at the moment. Close it, it's safe, it's out of the way. Glove box 2 is much bigger, but not quite as deep. But really good glove boxes, plenty of space, close the doors, then double partial shelves on the passenger side. So they've really used the boat with maximum storage space in mind, because let's face it, these days, the more we can fit inside the boat storage-wise, the better off we are. We're always looking for little knickknacks to put things away. The actual seat itself, they spin, so they're not, because the boat's wide, we can have a huge amount of room between the driver and the passenger seat, but have big seats as well. So what that means is we can be comfortable when we're underway, but we don't have to sacrifice getting through the boat. Really like that. Headroom is good, but as I mentioned earlier, just getting to the rods can be a little bit difficult. So you do have a pin here, which you can pull down and get to the rod, but it is quite high. So it's something you've got to keep in mind when you're looking at these. Clear's fantastic. So as I said a little bit earlier, the good thing about a Bimini style boat rather than a hard top, which we use a lot of these days, is I can just grab a little bit of air, and if it's really rough, I can just pop my head out there and have a little bit more visibility than everyone else without sacrificing the weather coming through. This is Velcroed and zipped. It's something that we do locally here at Streaker Marine, which really helps with the waterproofing as well. Have a quick look at the back. So transom door, they didn't compromise there either because we have the beam. So the transom door is huge. Dive ladder at the back there, so we can be in and out of the boat very efficiently and also get big fish inside the boat as well. As I said earlier, it's a self-draining floor. What that actually means is if you had a big bucket or 100 litres of water and you just pour it on the floor, instead of that going inside the bilge, it's going to go out the transom and directly out of the boat rather than being held in the boat. So boats that aren't self-draining, the water will work its way down to the bilge area. Two ways to get that out is drain plug or bilge pump. However, with this one, it has a one-way section to go straight out the back of the boat, so no water's held on the floor height. Bait board's awesome. You might have seen these in some of the yellowfin brands from Quintrex in the past as well. So they have these Wilson tackle boxes, two little mounts here, so the tackle box is in position, so if the boat's rocking around, they don't move. And then some storage over there as well. Knife racks either side, rod holders, drink holders, drains, the works. Live bait tanks over here, very simple system. So I'll turn that on from a switch panel. Just give me a moment on that. Bilge, tank, pump. There we go. So what happens is very simple system. This hose, this pipe here, once the water gets to the height of the pipe, it starts circulating back through. I have a window here, I have a light inside there as well. When I want to drain it, I pull that pipe out, so I'll just do to demonstrate now, and then the water drains out like a bathtub. So a very simple system, but super effective as well. So this area is, I think, the money shot. We can fold this up and see that we just have a huge amount of room in the boat. So if we've got maximum people, there's 7 adults that the boat can take, we can put the rear lounge down and have this seating area. But if we're just fishing, close that down and this is a huge bit of space here. So side decks are wide, easy to sit on. You can fish 3 or 4 people out of this quite comfortably. Obviously, the less people you have fishing, the better. But because this boat has cubic space, it's long and it's wide, it gives us a great footprint and so stable. So what we're going to do now is that's enough features and benefits. Let's see how she performs out in the chop. Yeah. All right, so I got a cameraman today, as I mentioned, so I'm using that to our advantage. He's going to drive, I'm going to walk around and have a look at what's going on. So we're going to do about 5 knots. Sort of like a bit of a trawling sort of pace, have a look around, see how the boat's handling at that. So right now, I think we're doing about 6 knots as it looks. So looking at the back there, again, stability is key in these boats. They do sit very well at slow speeds and at rest. It's a bit of a coup for the Tridents, 200 Yamaha, singing like a kitten. So now what we're going to do is go up to about 3,000 RPM. So a pace that it's time to get moving. We're going to be really good on fuel. I can see the screen from here, so I'll yell it out. It's right now it's 3,000 RPM. We're doing 31 kilometers an hour. and we're getting 2.1 kilometers for every litre that we're using. So that's really good. I'd certainly take that in most conditions, but we're chugging along quite nice. It's a comfortable pace. So let's have a look around. So it's decent weather. You know, we're chugging along. The trim tabs you can actually feel doing their job. That's all going really well. Might get time to turn left a little bit, and then we're going to go just up a rev range to another 500 to 1000 RPM. So we're on about half trim, which is about 4 or 5 bars on that Yamaha gauge. We're doing 4000 RPM as we speak. We're doing 46 kilometers an hour, and we're getting 1.8 kilometers for every litre. The boat's really happy at that, actually. I think it's happier at this pace than it was earlier. So what I mean by that fuel economy means at 1.8 kilometers per litre, for every, if we put 10 litres in the fuel tank, at 1.8, we would travel 18 kilometers. So you can see that spray chine doing its job. It's really pushing that water to the side there. Boat's really happy at that. I think that's the sort of pace that I'd be sitting on if I was using the boat. Just clean that camera a little bit. There we go. So again, Tyrone's still standing. He's happy. I'm going to work my way to the front. We're going to have a look over here. She's sitting good. All right, we'll slow back down. And I'll just have a quick look at the back here now that we can pop neutral. We're gonna have a look at that stability again out in the ocean swell or the bay swell. So that's all happy there. I'm going to turn around and sort of focus on the bait board. Now we are beam on to the waves, so it's as bad as it's gonna get. So what we'll do, you know, it's a meter and a quarter, beam on. Doesn't get any worse than that. Stability is probably my favorite feature of this boat. If there's any one particular thing that really impresses me, it is that. So we'll pop it back into gear. If you're looking for a 6 to 7 meter craft, it's going to get your family safe. It's going to keep, you couldn't get seasick in this thing if you tried. Big cabin for overnight stays. Cosmetically looks really sharp, and you get that Quintrex resale value, you get that Quintrex after sales service, and you get to deal with Streaker Marine as a dealer. Come and have a look at this 660 Trident and the whole Trident range. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us here at Streaker Marine, and we'd love to help. Thanks for watching.